authors' voices are so necessary and essential.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome to NBA Muslims Authors Speak, a wonderful opportunity for readers to get to know Muslim authors and the work that they do. I'm your host, Layla Abdullah-Poulos, managing editor of the NBA Muslims blog, writer, and author. Don't forget to check us out on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at NBA Muslims and visit our blog at www.pathnews.com/blog/NBA Muslims. Now, I'm so excited because the author to grace us with his presence today is Nasheed Jaxson. Nasheed has authored poems, poetry, plays, and spoken word pieces that he's performed up and down the East Coast of the States, winning and placing in poetry competitions, including the National Poetry and Literary Festival in the UK. In 2009, a close friend encouraged and assured Nasheed that he had what it took to write a movie. Months later, they produced West End Story, what hopes to be a blockbuster. Nasheed didn't stop at being a screenwriter. He wrote the wonderful romance Her Justice, the first novel of the Justice series, and plans to stay committed to doing his childhood pastime of writing. You know I'm a big fan of Her Justice, and I cannot wait for Her Justice 2 to come out. But you have another book out, which we're going to talk about. Assalamu alaikum, Nasheed. How are you?
Wa alaikum salam rahmatullah. I am excellent, alhamdulillah. How you doing?
Alhamdulillah.
How are
I'm
you?
good. I'm good. I read your new book, okay, the HALAL Nympho. The title alone just like drew me. Like I put it all over Facebook. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so glad to be able to talk to you again. We've spoken in the past. You are a fellow Muslim romance writer.
Mm-hmm.
You write romance. You center Muslim characters. Now, your first novel, Her Justice, was very, very successful. You got a lot of readers who loved it, including myself. Tell me about the HALAL Nympho.
Okay, so the Halal Nympho. Don't let the title. Listen. Okay, so I had an idea to write the story, and the title just popped up. I wrote the story. There was a couple of publishers or editors who was like, "Don, we can't do the title. Like the title, just you got to change the title if you want us to do it, right?" So I didn't go with them. I was like, okay, I'm gonna just do it myself because I just like the title. It grabs you. I don't know. Yeah, I just like the title.
Decided to self-publish, and that's the one. I'm all about self-publication. I am. I love the self-published authors, and I love the indie presses. Okay.
So I decided to self-publish, and so I can keep the title and also have the story myself. But the title it's just an introduction. It's not full of erotica stuff inside of the book. Like, you know what I mean? It's a story. It's a story.
It's actually a very interesting story. I had an opportunity to read it, and it features Amir, who is feeling quite helpless about the situation that he's in. He is married and he loves his wife Iman, but she has a hyper sex drive. Okay, she has a big libido, and he's feeling overwhelmed by it. Okay, and
for 2 years, let's be clear. Like he's dealt with it, but it's been for 2 years he's been dealing with this hypersexual, and it's not slowed down. You know, when you first get married, the honeymoon, sex is all the time, and then it like kind of dies down as you get into the marriage.
Speak for yourself.
He's dealing with it not dying down, and he don't know what to do about it. Like he's becoming afraid. He's becoming afraid in a sense. Like it's afraid because he can't be married with her anymore, and he's seeking help on how could he help? How can he get help with this situation?
Well, one of the things is that he seeks help in a wrong place, which we all have a tendency to do. Okay, so the book opens up, so I'm not giving any spoilers away because this is at the very beginning of the book. He's talking to a group of men about this. like he opens up to a group of brothers at a kind of like casual male advice man cave male group support group, Muslim male support.
That's what
group.
it is. Yeah, it's a Muslim male support group. Yes.
He decided that he was going to open up to them, all right, about his situation, and he gets ridiculed.
As he should have. Yes, he should have.
Not because of the situation, not because he's feeling overwhelmed, because I there's a predominant social messaging about men that they have stronger libidos naturally than women. They always want it and they're always ready for it. And it's simply not the case. They're human beings, and no human being is always ready for it or not always ready for it. I mean, these are extremes of sexual interaction. So this idea that somehow because he does not want to engage in sex as often as his wife, that he's somehow less of a man. That's the ridicule that he got. Because of this misconception about men, and that men are always ready for it, that, no matter what it is. So, like you have the common stereotype of the man watching football and the wife walking past the screen naked. Now, he's supposed to want her.
Move out the way.
There's something wrong
Move out the way. I'm trying to. Oh, yeah.
There's something wrong with him if he doesn't.
Yes.
Now, I mean, in your experience, with Muslim men, is this predominant messaging that you receive or that you see in discourse that somehow you're supposed to always want to have sex?
My experience is, I think that's part of the reason, one of the reasons I wrote the book, because dudes always say, man, I just want to have sex with her all the time. Man, I'm gonna give it to her this way. I'm gonna give it to her that way. When I get married to her, or what I'm saying, they always asking for.
Oh, these are guys when they get married. This is not while they're married. This is when they get married.
Yeah, before they're married, they're always asking for, somebody they can have sex with all the time. Well, now you got it. Now you got somebody, but you can't handle it. Now you can't handle it, and you can't handle it so much that you're decided that you don't want to be in the marriage no more.
Went out.
Right.
And I mean, the thing is that that's one thing that you do reveal in the book, is that her hypersexualization, his wife's hypersexualization doesn't come out of anywhere. It's not just like, I know that there's like this common idea of the nymphomaniac. I know the reason why you use the word instead of hypersexuality within the context, because Amir himself and the men around him had very ignorant stances when it came to Iman's condition. Okay, so I understand using the word nympho, because that's what they would consider her. That's what men like that would consider her.
Right.
So he was, the interesting thing is, like, it didn't come out of anywhere. And so everything that came with it, he seemed like he was able to grapple, except for his performance aspect of it, her expectation of his performance, he had a problem with. And her past, he had a problem with. Okay. Now, does one play into the other? Do you think he wanted his issue with her past was because of his own sense of inadequacy to satisfy her, and so he uses her past in a way?
No.
Okay.
I think it's okay. For me, it was right. You know how they say your eyes was too big for your stomach, or something like that. You know how the old people used to say that? Your eyes too big for your stomach, boy. Or you want something that you can't handle. For him, he wanted something that he couldn't handle for the long term. Like, he could handle it. He was happy, ecstatic in the beginning, but for the long term, he can't handle it. So I don't think it had nothing to do with him. It was nothing to do with his past, rather.
Her past.
Her past. Yeah, it had nothing to do with her past or his past. It had something to do with his desires. His desires, Allah answered his prayers, and now he can't handle it.
Are there men really out there just praying for a woman that wants to have sex?
I know them. Layla, I know them. I know they don't want, I'm telling you, they don't want it. They want it for the first few weeks. You know what I mean? When you come to the masjid at Fajr, you know, all sleepy, oh man, it's a long night.
Well, you know, it's interesting because I've had these conversations, we've talked about it, and the fact that the female libido is very scary to a lot of men. The vagina is a very scary thing to a lot of men, hence a lot of suppression of both the libido and seeking control over a woman's, not only her libido, but physically her sexual parts, okay? And those parts that seem to be the most easily aroused, okay? Just to have control over those things. And so when it seems like a woman has taken control of it herself, which some of the things that Iman said, all right, very much proved that she, in order to deal with certain things, she took her sexual life in full control. Like,
yeah,
she was driving it. She was driving down a cliff, but she was driving.
Right.
But she was driving, and so yes. I think that was intimidating to him as well. When they had conversation, when they had the one very striking conversation is when he approached her about her past, and she was upfront, honest, in many ways matter of fact about it. Like, this is what it is. This is what it is. This is what I did. This is the reason why I did it. Okay, but I'm not doing that anymore. You know. I think that scared the mess out of him, because nothing scares some men more than a confident woman, a sexually confident woman.
Wow. Wow.
You know?
Right.
I mean, I know that like in romance in the broader sense, not just books, but like movies and television shows and everything like that. The sexual confidence that is often conveyed that a woman has is only to the point where a man tames it. Okay, so she's sexually confident, but he still ends up with the upper hand. He still ends up with the one in control, and the one in control of her sexual confidence, ultimately. Okay.
And he's not that guy, right?
Oh, he's not that guy.
He's definitely
not that guy. He's definitely not that. He was a little prudish. I just was like, yeah, nah, dude, I don't know how this marriage is gonna last, because you were a little bit too demure for this person. And so it's like, and there's nothing wrong with being sexually demure. There's nothing wrong with being sexually confident. Mm-hmm. It's only when you're partners and you don't find a middle ground or a way that you're both satisfied that becomes an issue.
See, I think they had that. At that couple, they had that before she revealed her past.
Okay, but see, that's the reason why I'm saying, like, when reality hit, okay, because, all right, so we don't have any kids in the room, because I said this is good. I should have put a warning up ahead. I'm gonna put it in.
Ain't no kids in here.
I'm gonna put it in text at the bottom, like 18 years up. Okay. All right, so this is the thing. Okay. What did I say? I lost my train of thought for a second. All right, so tell me if I'm wrong. Mm-hmm. The majority, I'm saying this with confidence, the majority of men across backgrounds, Muslim, non-Muslim, Christian, Jew, white, black, all men, all right, all different societies, the majority of them delude themselves in the idea that once they have sex with that woman, and that's the woman that they want to continue to have sex with, and even worse, if that woman has a kid by them, that no other man is going to want them.
They're going to want them?
Yes. They delude themselves. And when that reality comes, it smacks them in the face. I'll give you a perfect example. It just happened. Jada Pinkett Smith and Will Smith. It just happened. Okay? Did you hear about that? That big thing, like the guy.
The entanglement thing?
The entanglement thing. All right, so did you ever watch the Red Table Talk that they had about it?
I didn't know. I couldn't give
I stomached it. I stomached it because everyone was talking about it. I just was like, I got to. All right, so I'm not going to get too far into it. But the one thing that I noticed, okay, everyone was talking about how he looked and everything like that. I was like, yeah, he looks just like a man who thought that no other man wanted his woman. And he just got a rude awakening. That, yeah, other men that want your woman and still want her today. And it's like, as they think as you get older, that you get less attractive and everything like, because that's the message in society definitely says. I think the majority of men, when they get into a committed relationship with someone, and if they start a family with them, especially Muslim men who already have the sense of entitlement that, oh, well, she can't marry a non-Muslim, okay? Until in reality, you see all these Muslim women like looking at checking these non-Muslim men out. But it's already the sense of entitlement. So once they get married, it's this whole idea that no other man wants you.
Okay, so listen. When you said that, I was like, nah, not the dudes that I ain't, not the dudes that I know. Not the dudes that I know I grew up with. Because you said the whole spectrum of men. But when you got specific and said Muslim men, yeah.
Okay, so you think it's a Muslim male thing?
Man, them dudes get into Islam and they think that like life just, like the outside world just stopped.
Well,
you know what I mean? Nobody's looking at their wife and...
Well, you know why? You know why? I'm gonna take.
I don't get it. I don't
get it. You want to know why? You want to know why?
Let me know, please.
Because if you enter this faith or you're brought up into this faith, it is very gendered. The messaging that you get. I'm not saying Islam itself is gendered. I mean, there are aspects of it that are, because like Allah says, the male is not like the female. But it's equity. It's equity. It all evens out because Allah is our adil. He's just. But it's very gendered, the messaging that you get. Okay? So, for instance, covering. All right? For many Muslim women, covering, the message that you're getting about covering is as a form of obedience to your Lord. Okay? Being chaste is a form of obedience to your Lord.
Your Lord. Right.
Okay? For men, we're doing this for them. We're doing this for them. And so when we're covered, it means that it comes with the whole package. We're covered. We're spiritually chained up to being monogamous, okay, and chaste. All right? In some ways, that's true because like you're going to obey Allah, you're not going to obey Allah. But it has nothing to do with the man. Okay?
Right.
It has nothing to do with the man. Okay? Like, if you don't fear Allah, to do as you please. All right? So it's like it has nothing to do with the man. It has to do with taqwa, with fearing Allah. That's why there are Muslim women who are covered who cheat on their husbands. Okay? Quite honestly, they do. They got their side piece.
Because dudes get into, they stop trying with their wives. You know what I'm saying? They stop trying with their wives. Because and I say Muslim, I mean black Muslims. Yeah. That's how I know. They stop trying. They would think that this thing just like the emotions of the woman just changes and just becomes. In the first place.
If they tried in the first place.
Well, they had to do something for her to, you know what I mean, to get her, right? They had to do something.
It depends.
God damn.
It depends. More and more they're finding that they have to. More and more they're finding that they have to. That's why you have this large population of single Muslim women. It is not a given anymore. It is not a given that I want to marry you. It's not a given that I want to marry a Muslim man, okay? And that's a sad commentary on the gender relations between Muslim men and Muslim women. And Muslim women are like, I gotta have Abdullah, who's entitled, who thinks that I want him, and who thinks that once I marry him that I'm sexually subservient to him, that is submissive to him means that I can't have my own life or anything like that, and I have my own life now, or I can stay celibate, or wait a second, there's Jacob over there. He's a good guy. Okay, he's clean cut and everything like that, and he's totally into me. Okay, so it's like honestly,
and he's not going to stop trying.
And he's not going to stop trying because he don't have those barriers. He don't have the barriers that Ahmed has.
Right.
And the thing is, like, Muslim men in general think that Muslim women are a given, and we are not. The young Muslim women today are showing more and more.
They ain't having it.
They're not having it.
I feel sorry for them dudes, man, for real.
And especially in an American context and in an African American context, because the aunties and the mamas, Mama Bear over here is talking to her girls. Okay, like point blank. You're having those conversations with your daughters, like, no, you know, you can have this, you can do this, you can live your life. And if you start to share your life with someone, that's what you're doing. You're sharing your life with that person. Okay. And you're going to be mutually supportive of that person, and you're going to mutually gratify each other. And if there's a problem, come to mama and we'll talk about it. You know, so it's like, it's more and more that's not, that the women are showing that is not the case, but men don't seem to have the message. And I also think that with Amir, the character in particular, when her sexual past was right in his face, he could not handle it. Once again, because of this whole idea that this human being's body was just for me. So even if I could kind of push back the fact that I know she has a past, it's not there. It's not there. I don't have someone saying to me, yeah, I had her, she was real good. You know what I mean? It's not there. So it takes a certain confidence of man, all right, to look past all of that. And
to be able to deal with a woman, to be able to deal with a woman like that. But
she's not a woman like that anymore. That's the thing that kills me about the book. She made her spiritual and emotional transformation. She wasn't the person that she was in the past anymore. He didn't marry that person.
Right.
And he had to admit to that fact. He didn't marry that person, but he's still making her face consequences because of it, which is not fair.
No, it's not.
So he makes mistakes after mistake, and it's just like he jeopardizes that relationship so much that I would like to have had more. I would like to have had more of Iman's side, because I know I was sitting there like, this stuff will be at the door. This stuff will be at the door. I love myself too much. I done went through too much. Surviving what I had to survive for this fool to sit up here and approach me like this with this nonsense. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like
I mean, she was pissed off in the beginning. Like,
she was just like, I'm like, throw him out, girl. Throw him out. Just throw him out. Just tell him, nah, you got to go. Like, period. I don't care about what it says Islamically or anything like that. Get your stuff and leave. I'm not going to walk around with you or anything. So it's just like, he makes mistake after mistake after mistake. It's hard to imagine people coming up out of that. Now, I've had characters like that. And I generally, I like that dynamic of the imperfect character. I love my imperfect character. Because it's a challenge as a writer to make them redeemable. Okay. And also, it gives you an opportunity to tap into all these different human emotions, the good ones and the bad ones. So it's just like when you're trying to think of it, I tried to think of it from Amir's perspective, because I just kept thinking it from Iman's perspective.
Crystal.
I thought it was Iman.
Crystal.
Why do I keep saying Imam?
I don't know.
Oh, sorry, Crystal. I don't know. You know why? Because the last word I looked at was Imam. And now I've been saying Imam since I looked down and I saw the word Imam and then I shut it off and I've been saying it ever since. Yeah. So Crystal, so it's like I've been trying to see it from his perspective. I've been trying to think of it along the lines of, okay, so I'm a sister and I met this brother. Muslim men have passed, born into Islam and converts. They have passed, okay? And what would happen if I come to find out that the man that I married, okay, used to be the community D back in the day? Like, how would I handle that? How would I handle that? You know, I try to think of it that way.
It's you, but just like they say, like, you know, if a dude can do it, but a woman can't, and it's the same thing. Like,
I beg to differ, my friend.
I
beg to differ, my friend.
I get it.
Because if I find out that you are a male hoe, all kinds of concerns would come into my head. Like, okay, well, how much protected sex did you have? And like, what kind of, wait a second, some of the freaky things.
Hey, man, listen, that was 20 years ago, man. Don't be bringing up my past.
And the way that he did it was just.
The thing is, for us men, our women, when we see them, they look flawless. And that's just how we think their past is. So when we find out that this flawless woman that we're looking at has this dirty past, she begins to look like that past to a lot of dudes.
The thing is that I would argue that Crystal's past is not dirty.
I agree too. I mean, there's choices that it's okay.
Yeah.
But some dudes, especially these Muslim dudes become Muslim, they think that everything's just supposed to be crystal clear. Like, you know what I mean? Allah forgives that. When they become Muslim, Allah forgives all that. All that stuff drops to the side. But to a lot of dudes, they still hold that person responsible. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, they definitely do. And when Allah says in the Quran not to.
And it shouldn't be that way.
It should not be that way.
No,
and that's the thing. And he had no support system. He had no Muslim man that be like, listen, dude, like, why are you harping on that?
Right.
Why are you harping on this part of it like that? If you love her, you really need to work harder. And that's the other aspect of it. People tend to think, and I think it's like men and women as well, that love is easy. It's not.
Oh.
It's not easy.
Wait. I'm sorry, I didn't hear. Could you say that again?
That love is easy. People think that love is easy. It is not.
Right. But it's not. Exactly. Oh my God.
Physical attraction is easy. Okay. Having amorousness for someone, that's easy. Okay. But all of that is it always needs to transform as the relationship continues, if the relationship continues, okay? The love that I have for my husband today is not the same love that I had for him 29 years ago. Thank goodness, because that was some surface level. It was just like, he's cute. I want to marry him. Oh, he's so smart. That makes me even hotter for him. And stuff like that. But that's not necessarily love that prepares you for all the stuff.
Man.
At life and the changes that you go through and the changes that your partner goes through.
Right.
And so here is Amir. Like you said, he prayed for this and he got it. Not realizing two things, that maybe it's not what he wants, okay? And also that the idea of what you want is not something that does not come without its challenges. It does not come without its challenges. Absolutely. Because if you are a person who wants a partner who wants it all the time, meaning that they prioritize sex over their own emotional well-being. Okay, and it takes a certain type of dysfunction to do that. Okay, then that's what you get, but you also get everything else that comes with it, because a person has to go through certain things to get to certain points in their life.
Yeah.
So, and that's what happened to him. He ended up with someone who he had to respect and admire for her faith, okay? But she came with challenges.
Okay, so that's the
challenges made her sexual libido skyrocket, which is what you wanted, dude.
That's what you wanted. That's it. But my question would be, do you think that if she would have made her history known, like in the beginning, would he still marry her? Meaning, about her being diagnosed hypersexual.
I don't think that she should have done that. Well, that should have. I don't think that would have that men like Amir or a lot of men make that possible.
Which is why those people who are
not safe. You're not safe. You're not safe. You're not safe to reveal sexual trauma.
Right.
At all.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Or your sexual past. At all. So I can understand why she did it. I can completely understand why she did it. There's nothing about Muslim culture, African American Muslim culture in the United States that shows that someone that has undergone sexual trauma inside or outside the community is necessarily safe.
From ridicule, from
and rejection. And straight up rejection. Why does the number of sexual partners frighten people so much in this society? Outside of Muslim culture, but especially inside of Muslim culture.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That number, your head count.
Wait, what's your head count?
Oh, body count. That's what it's called. Your body count.
That's it.
It's a frightening thing to people. It's a frightening thing to women. It's a frightening thing to men. I think more so Muslim men, because of this idea that they can make those mistakes, but women are not supposed to make those mistakes. There's so much about the society that frames it that way that it ends up severely suppressing women. So that's why, on the extreme, you have the whole thing of honor killings and everything like that. It's the suppression of Muslim women's sexuality. Okay, instead of honoring it and respecting it and giving them opportunities to channel it in ways that they decide to. They may make mistakes, okay, but ultimately that's between them and Allah. So it's too much about the society that says that just one partner, okay, disqualifies a woman from marriage. Now, I'm not talking about people that are openly promiscuous and unrepentantly promiscuous. That's a whole nother conversation.
That's a whole nother, yeah. Of course.
I'm talking about making a mistake in your life or making a transformation in your life and being made to face consequences for it. Okay? That's one thing. The second thing is that Allah covers up your mistakes. If Allah covers up your mistakes and your sin, you're not supposed to tell anybody about it. You're not supposed to reveal it to anybody or anything like that. So outside of taking the necessary precautions, okay, being tested, okay, make sure you don't have any STDs or anything like that, do you really owe your potential spouse your body count?
Which is why she kept it.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But listen, the real reason like I had a thought, this was years ago, I had a thought, what would the nympho do? What would a hypersexual person who decides, you know what, I believe that Allah is God, I believe the Prophet ﷺ is his last messenger, and they become Muslim. What do they do in the deen? Like, how?
Not only that, you grow up, and you have to deal with her, and you become hypersexualized for a variety of reasons, and you become hypersexualized. And so you grew up in this faith, and this is your faith, and you're solid in your faith, but you have this,
Right.
And it is even worse for a Muslim woman. It is even worse because society already is suppressing your sexuality on the
Absolutely.
I had to peep my husband to something. Okay, Papa Bear loves his daughters. He loves his princesses. Like, loves them. He's very protective of them.
There's no love story like the father and the daughter. No love story like
time with them. He, like, you know, he will I'll see a look on his face when he sees the three girls together. Like, there's a look that comes over his face. Okay, that he doesn't get with the boy. He loves his sons. I'm not saying
of course. Yeah.
But there's something about the relationship that he has with his daughter. Now, I have a 22-year-old. Okay, and so every so often she goes out the house, and you know, like any young person, she pushes the envelope. Okay, she's experimenting with style, fashion. Sometimes she's going to work out, and so my husband will stop her at the door, like that, like, princess, you don't think those pants are a little too tight for you, like that, okay? And he's a lot nicer than I am. Because I'm like, you ain't going out the house. These are too tight. Get your behind back in that house. That's for inside. Thank you. But he never does it to the boys. He never does it to the boys. And I said to him, you don't see those shorts your son has on? You're not going to say anything to him? It just didn't. It was never on his radar. What the boys wore was never on his radar. And I'm like, yeah, okay, you see his thighs, right? But you see his thighs, type of thing. And so he's like, oh yeah, son. You know, like, so it's like he's always like, it just is on his radar to see what this 22-year-old is wearing. And she's gorgeous, okay? And he's been approached and she's been followed. So that's another reason. But he never thought about it for the boys. So, because there's this whole idea of women, okay, that needs to be confined. Their sexuality and their attractiveness needs to be confined. Okay. The worst aspect of it is that Muslim men try to take complete ownership of it, whether it's their father, their brother, or their uncle, or their spouse. Okay, that's the worst aspect of it. But I think that all Muslim men have some layers to it. I don't think that they always totally strip women of their autonomy and their humanity through it. Some men do, some men don't. But the overall messaging is that it's something to be controlled and concealed and hidden away. So when you are presented with the fact that no, that part of her was not controlled, concealed, or hidden away, even though she repented, even though she got her life together before she met your raggedy behind, even though she has been a dutiful wife to you, you still are gonna doubt her. You still are gonna bring that mess up to her. That's why I'm like, just throw him out. Just throw him. But I always want to throw out your male characters.
Well, him, like I wanted him to be that guy.
Justice is not as bad as him. Justice is not as bad as him.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't put him on Justice's level. Like he can't. What I don't like about Ahmed is he isn't real. Like he lives in a fantasy world that everything is supposed to be perfect. And if it has a past, if it has something that doesn't fit who he is now, he wants to get rid of it. That's who he is. That's the kind of person he is. So when he found out about her, even though he loves her, even though he has built a relationship for her, he has built a relationship for her.
There are too many things.
He still wants to put her to the side because she doesn't fit who he is. what
he's inadequate. The thing is that he's inadequate. He's inadequate and he's helpless. Okay, and that's like, I'm surprised that Crystal stayed, because nothing is a bigger turnoff to a lot of women than a helpless man. Okay, not vulnerable. There's a difference between being vulnerable and being helpless. Okay, he is like a helpless man. Terrible. I mean, just the things that happen in this book. It's just really good. But the thing I loved about it is that you gave layers to Crystal and her condition and the way what it is that she has to deal with. I wish there was more, because these are some dynamic characters that you have here, and she deserves so much better. After going through all of that she's gone through, she deserves so much better than Amir. Or Amir needs to really make a transition in his personality and the way that he behaves if he wants to keep her.
So you're saying it should be a part 2?
I think there should be a part 2. I think that there should be a part 2. I think that there's more to Amir and Crystal's story. I think that there needs to be, I think that Crystal is, I think that there are men out there for whom the past does not bother them.
Absolutely.
The way that it did Amir.
Absolutely. And that's what I want. I would like our community to be that way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because we're not all clean. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? You look at my body count, sister look at my body count, she'd be like, nah. But that's my past. I'm done with that.
And even if it's a halal body count, even if it's a halal, right. How many men have been through like all of these wives?
You're right.
And it's just like, I remember when I was first Muslim, like I've been married for 29 years.
Alhamdulillah.
Okay, alhamdulillah. I every day I thank Allah, because I realize how much of a blessing that is. 2 things I noticed when I first became Muslim, all right? In the community where I frequented, okay, and I'm not going to name the community, people went through spouses like they go through underwear. They were, I mean, it was like a revolving door when it came to spouses. That was one thing. I definitely didn't want that in my life. But also the other thing that I wanted, that I noticed, which was kind of oxymoronic, because you're going through all of these partners, and then you're saying at the men were saying at the same time that they wanted a virgin. Okay, but it's like, dude, like, yeah, you go through all these partners. There were people sitting in the musalla. There were women sitting in the musalla who had been married to each other's husbands at one time. That's how it was. And I'm not saying it's a horrible thing.
Yeah, that's community. That's community.
But I'm saying juxtapose this whole idea of I want a virgin. But dude, you ain't no virgin either. Right. Your body counts, that whole back wall back there is your body count. It's your body count. Like sometimes they have body counts inside Islam, inside the deen. They have high body counts. I remember this imam out here on Long Island. Homeboy's body count is not small. It wasn't small when I became Muslim, and it didn't diminish or stay stagnant or anything. It's just like, I know imams in New York who have a high body count. Yeah. Now, that says something differently about marriage, like their ability to maintain a committed relationship. That says a whole other thing. So I can understand concerns based on that. I can understand concerns based on the fact, okay, you've committed yourself to someone, to 12 different people. I know imams who have, and none of those worked out. Okay, well, what makes you think it's going to work out with me? That's like the whole emotional type of aspect. Why would you hold someone account to the fact that those 12 people you had sex with, or those 30 people, I know people who have been married
who had sex, right,
that you have sex with. But they will for women. But they will do that for women. They will say, this sister has had 12 brothers, or this sister has been married 12 times, she has 12 brothers, and I have to stand next to those men at Jumu'ah. It takes a certain level of ignorance to have that bother you, and it takes a certain level of confidence to not let it bother you.
Let that bother you. I absolutely agree.
She's with me now.
Right.
He's with me now. But
Right.
that's one of his biggest challenges is getting past that point. And a lot of brothers get past that point. Now, the interesting thing that I like is that there was someone who was perfectly willing to be like, yeah.
I got
that bother you? That don't bother me.
That's it. Absolutely. Absolutely. There's that guy, there's those guys in the community. Like, I don't really care about that. Like, that's who she is. You gotta accept. But you have to accept her for who she is. Accept her for who she is. Who she is and everything that came with it. You know what I mean? Everything that came with it.
And the thing is like, if you're driving with this person and you become committed to this person, okay, the commitment how deep is the commitment that you have? It gets deeper and deeper the more you become emotionally connected to this person and become emotionally grounded in this person. But that does not mean that the person, each one of you don't have their own problems, you know, and their own issues. Everyone goes through all these different emotional changes in their lives, like midlife crisis, all of those things. And it's like, as a partner, that's something that you end up tackling and dealing with. My friend once told me many years ago when we first got married, I think I was in my 5th year of marriage, and she said to me, every 10 years, you're going to want to kill him. That's what she said to me. Every 10 years,
you're going to want to kill him?
You're going to want to kill him. It was 5. I think it was 5. Every 5 years. Every 5 years. Every 5 years, you're going to want to kill him. All right? And you're going to wonder why you're with him. And then it'll go away because you'll see the person that you married and love him again. But every 5... And
so when we marry... So
you go through stuff.
When we marry, do you think we are in a fantasy world for the most part? Like, you know what I'm saying, with a person?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. You want to know why? You want to know why? Because that's the way they set it up. We're so, what is it said in Malcolm book? You've been hoodwinked, bamboozled.
Wow.
You definitely have. Okay, because, all right, so I converted. All right. I was born converted. I converted. I have a long origin story. I very rarely tell people. And so one of the things that happened when I converted, I went on the market. All right. I was not ready to go on the market. But the first thing is like, you need to get married. I mean, they hammered it. They hammered it so much so that I told one sister off in the mosh pit. Because I was like, listen, marriage is not for everybody at every time. Why are you trying to force me into your situation? I don't feel like it. I have my own life. I don't want to get married to some man to tell me I can't go out after sunset and then leave me with his kids peeing all over me. Why do you want that for me? It was like that. She couldn't stand me for a long time. But I had been pressured so much. And then all that I got was the hadith about marriage, half your deen, this and this and this, that and that and that, and this person, and the ideal wives, and this and this and this. So you sold this bill of goods that, first of all, you need to get married in order to complete your faith, or complete your way of life. All right, you need to be married. No one ever talks about the realities of marriage. They just say, well, you need to be married.
Right.
It's just like parenthood. Well, you need to have kids, have kids, have kids, have kids, have kids. And I tell people, one sister, okay, wonderful sister I've known since I first became Muslim, because after I got married finally, all right, it wasn't even a month before people were like, when are you going to have kids? You're going to have kids? You're going to have babies? Are you pregnant yet? It was unbelievable. And the sister was like, listen, don't rush to have kids, okay? Because parenthood is miserable. Enjoy your spouse. Have a good time. Travel. Get to know each other and everything like that. Because once those kids come, that is it.
Right.
She was so right. But,
right.
But you're not told those things. So you're not told those things about relationships. You're not told about the challenges. You're not told about the fact that, listen, Nasheed is a cool dude and everything like that. He's a good brother. Look at his beard; it's all fine and everything like that. He's fly. He got the teeth and everything. He got the smile. He got the deep voice to everyone. You know, and like you get into Nasheed,
and that, right,
Nasheed,
and not
of
the
course Nasheed is saying all the right things.
right.
All right. So it's just like, yeah, this brother, he wants a dean and he wants to raise a family in the dean and everything like that. La, 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 la. And then you get married and you find out, okay, well then Nasheed has his own personal proclivities. Nasheed may not be sexually competent in the bedroom. Nasheed may have what is that called? You know, when it's like obsessive compulsive disorder. He may be bipolar. No one's telling you that stuff. Okay.
That's real. That's a book.
Okay. No one's telling you any of that stuff. You know that sister Layla, right? Oh, yeah, she's real good. You know, she reads Quran and she speaks Arabic. She teaches Arabic in the school, and she's really good. She'd be a good Muslim sister. No one tells you, and Layla's not going to tell you, okay, that she's a sexual abuse survivor. Okay, that she has a dysfunction with food. Okay, that she will punch you in your face if you touch her at night while she's sleeping.
Yeah, you ain't gonna find that out until you wake up with a black eye.
You're not gonna find out. No one says, like, you know, okay, well now your wife has postpartum depression. What do you do? What do you do? Okay.
You deal with it.
No, some men don't.
Yeah,
some men don't, because you're sold a bill of goods. Like you're supposed to fall in love, have great sex, and pop out baby after baby after baby. But that's not the way life works for most people. I'm sure there's someone somewhere that it worked that way for.
But not for most
of the time, most people it doesn't work that way. So we're definitely sold a bill of goods when it comes to marriage.
Yeah.
Definitely told lies when it comes to the fact that people have a past. If you're going to accept them, you need to accept that past. Sometimes the past stays there. Sometimes it's like, boop.
You're still dealing with that person. Still dealing with that past. Yeah.
And that person's still dealing with that past. So that's what Amir is challenged to deal with. And I think that like that the way that he's been dealing with it, oh my God, we need more. We need more of the halal nympho and what happens. And you need to flesh out Crystal more. That is a very dynamic character. Crystal deserves.
Yeah, I like Crystal.
And she needs a real love interest. Okay.
That's Amir. What are you talking about? If Amir changes, if he changes his mindset.
He has to change his mindset. He definitely has to change his mindset.
Yeah, if he changes his mindset, I think
because she is all of that. The thing is that Crystal is all of that. Okay, that most Muslim men want. Okay, and so, but she comes with this issue that she's dealing with.
That's the thing.
Okay, well then that's the thing. If you love her,
right,
and if you want to commit yourself to her and share your life with her, you have to share everything. And that's something that you two have to navigate together.
Absolutely.
Because if you, especially, I like the way you switch the dynamic because it shows an extra layer of a challenge. Because if it was a man who was hypersexual, okay, what would be the common solution for him? What would be the common solution for a Muslim man who's hypersexual? Well, you can have 4 women.
You
have 4 women.
Yeah.
No, that should satisfy your libido.
See, but even if
and all you have to do is make wudu between them.
See, but I mean, listen. And then people think that 4 wives that's what 4 wives are about. You know, it's about having sex with all of them, or, you know, because you're hypersexual. But a lot of times it's not like that. But that might be a good story. If a dude
you end up with 4 women that don't want to have sex with you.
For real. Because he has a hypersexual, but he can't please in bed. let's say he's too big. Right.
Right. You know that's going to go around the community. You know that, right? You know that's going to go around the community. Because sisters talk like, oh yeah, I was married to that brother.
I couldn't enjoy it. He's too big.
Good luck. He's too big. You don't know what to do with it. You know, they'll say like point blank. And the brother be wondering why I can't find a wife. Well, dude.
Real talk. Real talk, man. That's a sad story.
The common concept would be get 4 women.
Mm.
Right? You're hypersexual. That's your solution. Far off the mark. Because you're talking about starting 4 families, 4 committed relationships. You're sharing your life with 4 people, okay? And who may at certain degrees share their lives with each other. It depends on the relationship that they have.
Mm.
Relationships that they have. Okay, so it's not about that. That is not what polygamy is about. But often that is the advice that men will get. Okay? Women don't have that option. Okay? So Crystal is stuck with Amir and his inadequacies and his feeling overwhelmed. Okay, and his, well, I don't want to have sex with you today because I'm just not in the mood type of thing. I can't take it anymore. You know, he's a big baby. And it's just like, what recourse does she have? She can't go over to her other husband. Okay, we know what Crystal might have done back in the day before she was Muslim.
Right.
All right, like, okay, well, peace out.
I mean,
I'm heading over to my other hookup. It's like,
but if that doesn't work for her, she could, like you say, she could divorce and just marry somebody the next week. You know, just have a hard body count in the community.
Now, that's the other thing. How do you know she's not going to end up with another Amir?
That's a chance she taking. That's the chance she taking.
That's just taking.
That's the chance she taking.
Because so many Muslim men are so incompetent.
I agree.
When it comes to not so much the act of sex, I think there's plenty of them that are there too, because they're not trained. No one's having the conversations with them. But they are just so emotionally incompetent because of their sense of entitlement and their expectation of purity. I can't stand using that word because the whole idea is that you're no longer pure because you've had sex. But people have sex for different reasons. So it's like, am I not pure anymore because I've been married for 29 years to this man? To him, no, I'm not, and no other man's going to want me. He's going to delude himself into that until he sees it. I'm not saying it's a conscious thing. I'm saying it's a subconscious thing. Until he sees it, until he sees brother Jamal eyeballing me. Okay? And then he's just like, how dare he?
Right.
Who are you looking at, brother?
Right. No, for real. That's how they be, yeah. I think
that because that's the messaging that's going on in Muslim culture. It's not what Islam teaches. Because out of all the Prophet's wives, one was a virgin. Okay, all the rest of them were widows or divorced.
Yes, right.
Okay, so that whole idea of female purity is just like it feeds these delusions, and the entitlement feeds these delusions that make them more and more incompetent. And until there are people out there that are having the honest conversations with them, until there's texts out there, that's why I write what I write. You know, it's like that's why you write what you write. It's like, you know, you are this is what we go through. This is the things that we go through to not only fall in love, but to stay in love and everything in between. And this is what happens when you are an Amir and you're acting this way. You are in serious jeopardy of losing your woman. So what you going to do about it? So I do like the book. It was very hard for male romance writers to give female characters layers, and you definitely gave both Crystal and Naima layers. So that's one of the things that I enjoy very much about your books. You write very good characters.
Alhamdulillah.
You do. Halal Nympho needed more. Like it's a novel. You really have a novel there. Okay? I understand that sometimes as an author, you're not feeling the novel. Okay? But because of the characters that you created, I as a reader am feeling a novel. Okay, and I get it. I get that. I've gotten that with my novellas. Each one of my novellas, they're just like, it's too short. It's too short. I'm like, I wrote it that way.
Yeah, right, right.
I wrote it that way on purpose because there are a lot of romance readers who like short reads. Okay, I always fall for the short read. Like if it's like it's a catchy title and everything like that, and I'm looking and it's like, oh, it's only 100 pages. Oh, let me ding.
Get into it. Right.
So I understand why you did it, but I'm just saying your talent as an author to write interesting characters that makes me want to know more about them as a reader. So I am looking forward to Her Justice 2. Any timeline of when that's gonna come?
I'm looking late fall, early winter. That's what I'm looking for.
Well, keep us posted. All right?
I will. I promise you we're working on it. We're working on it now.
And keep us posted on the second installment of HALAL Nympho.
Oh, okay. I haven't committed to that yet. Hold on, man.
So I'm telling you, you can't leave Crystal there. You can't leave Crystal there. She has too much to tell readers.
So she needs her own, not only a part 2, she needs her own, she needs a story. She needs her own book.
She needs her story told. She really needs her story told. The reader needs to feel more of her past, how it's affecting her, how it's impacting her. You gave us a little bit, okay? It made me want more. So I'll be waiting for Crystal's story.
Okay.
Because that's the character that she is. Hopefully she'll get rid of Amir. Or Amir will make some major changes.
Yeah, I'm not sold on them two being together like I am on Naima and Justice. I'm not.
Oh God. Don't tell me you love Naima with Justice.
I'm sold on that. Yo, that's a love story right there, man. Like that's a Muslim.
Yeah, Justice loves himself. I'll let you go. Okay, so pick up HALAL Nympho, only 99 cents on Kindle. Is it Amazon? Is it Kindle Unlimited too?
It's Kindle.
It's Kindle, so only 99 cents on Kindle. Sorry, Kindle Unlimited people. And do not forget to pick up a copy of Her Justice before Her Justice 2 comes out, because you're definitely going to want to read Her Justice. Now, where can readers find you?
Listen, on social media, I act a fool, man. Like I really need to start focusing on my writing on social media, but I just be acting a fool on social media. But you can find me.
You cause trouble. That's what you do.
I haven't been deleted. Like nobody ain't blocked me in a while, so I must be calmed down a little bit. Like I haven't been blocked.
You cause quite a bit of trouble on social media. Those comments on your posts. Like whenever there's a post, okay, so I'll tell people they can find you. Okay, you can find Nasheed on Twitter and on Facebook. Nasheed Jaxson, he has a fan page, and Instagram also, Nasheed Jaxson. And it's, what is it on Twitter?
La Solo.
Okay, change it to Nasheed Jaxson.
Yeah, it is Nasheed Jaxson. I do have a Nasheed Jaxson, but
Nasheed Jaxson on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Okay,
yes, it is.
So check him out. Don't forget to get his books as well. If you like what you heard, do not forget to hit that subscribe button and ring that bell. And please leave a comment to help with the algorithms. And look out for the next NBA Muslim Author Speak. Don't forget to visit us at NBA Muslims on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram as well as our website, www.pathheals.com/blog/NBA Muslims. And be on the lookout for the next fabulous Muslim author. Jazakallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Words moves societies.